I was born in Orlando, Florida. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
Which kind of explains my sound a little bit, my Florida roots. But I've been here since I was like 6 years old. So I grew up in College Park. But again, the roots of the hometown of DJ Magic Mike, and it kind of influences my Atlanta sound, which, you know, the stuff that I became known for as a producer, always had like a Miami bass influence feel to it. It gets credited to the Atlanta bass sound, which is correct. But if you go back and listen to a lot of my DJ Smurf records, and we'll get into that too, you know, some people don't know I started out as a DJ Smurf, before Mr.Collipark. You'll hear the influence of Miami bass probably over Atlanta bass, as far as what I did as a bass producer / artist, and just a straight up music producer, who later on became Mr.Collipark.
Okay, so when you moved from Florida to Atlanta, what was you doing then? Once you got to Atlanta, and
you understand, when I moved to Atlanta, I was 6. I was in kindergarten.
Okay.
I think I had to repeat kindergarten because of my age thing. I think I did kindergarten in Florida, but because my birthday came late in the year, something crazy like that.
They was doing that a lot.
Yeah, I had to repeat kindergarten. So I was literally in kindergarten when I moved up here, and I would go back and forth to Orlando during the holidays and stuff like that. Again, which DJ Magic Mike was DJing at the skating rink that I wasn't allowed to go to back in the day. So, you know, I was very young and very influential. So when I would go back, I would still hear the music that was popping down through there. You know, so I was in school. I was young. I was like, I didn't even know I wanted to do music when I moved to Atlanta. That was before all of that, you know. I wasn't like, you take somebody like Jermaine Dupri, who grew up in the industry. That wasn't me. Right. You know, I kind of found it just from being out here. You know?
Okay. So what was your first experience with doing music? Was it DJing, making a mixtape, or doing a record?
My first experience with music was DJing. Let's go all the way back.
Let's do it.
Band. I was in the band. I played trumpet in the band. So
wow.
That was my first experience, you know. And I think, you know, anybody who was in the band, you go like to Pharrell and the Neptunes, or you trace a lot of people back to band, you could tell people who kind of started in some kind of official music training. You know, I never had a tutor or nothing like that, but you learn how to read music, you learn how to scales and, you know, stuff like that. Just basic music stuff that somebody who just popped up with a computer, you know, they might know it from looking at YouTube or something like that. But if you was in band, you kind of were taught. So my first introduction to music was band. I was in the high school band all the way up to like the 11th grade. When I was kicked out of band, I always had a bad attitude. Never could follow. I never had a lot of discipline listening to other people tell me what to do. So that was always an issue for me. So, but DJing, I was young and I was just, I grew up in College Park, Point Ridge, and just from going to house parties and stuff like that, I was introduced to DJing from some of the older cats that were in my neighborhood who had turntables. Nobody had Techniques or 1200 back then. We didn't have it like that, but you know, a couple of guys in the neighborhood had turntables, and I go over their house and just was really mesmerized by the whole thing with the two turntables and the mixer, the realistic mixer back then from Radio Shack is what everybody had. But that was the you know, until I was able to buy my own set of turntables, which came from, I want to say, Service Merchandise, that used to be on Old National. If anybody, or it might have been, it was either there or Circuit City. One of them two, I can't remember.
It probably was Service Merchandise.
Two straight on turntables that couldn't do nothing. So I had to get some slip pads and all that. So that introduced me into DJing until I finally met King Edward J, who was introduced to me by my then MC, whose father lived in Decatur, and Edward J was a deacon or a reverend at the church. So
wow.
I was popping in my little school or whatever, my MC, not my little MC. Shout out to D-Most Def. He would go to Decatur, go to church, and introduce me to Edward J, who had the J Team, had the record shop, King Edward J Records and Tapes. So that's how I hooked up with Edward J and became a member of the J Team. Probably the most iconic, not probably, I'm going to say it, the most iconic mixtape crew from Atlanta. And that's not to take anything away from anybody else. It was just like they set the bar.
That's right.
Or we set the bar, he set the bar for what would become the rest of the DJ mixtape scene in Atlanta. So, yeah.
And with the J Team, now you was like one of the favorite DJs from the J Team.
Right.
Not taking away anything from Lynn and Kizzy and the rest of them.
Right.
But did you come up with the pillow bass thing?
And only a couple of people who know enough about those mixtapes have ever asked me about that. And honestly, Kizzy Rock came up with the concept. I want to say the first time I heard it, he mixed. It was records. We hadn't gone to the drum machines yet. I took what I heard Kizzy do, and really took it somewhere else, which I think that's one of my strengths as a record person. Period. Even moving past the J Team, to find something that's good and make it great. But I think he mixed. Was it Regina Belle, Baby Come to Me, with Feel the Bass? And I still do that mix to this day. I think we put that on the first Pillow Bass mixtape. It's so long ago, but I think that was the mix that was like, whoa. And then we had these drum machines, the original TR-808 and the Elises. I can't remember the model of Elises that we had, just sitting in the shop. And I learned how to use them. I was always a bit of a nerd in that sense, to want to learn how to use the equipment. I always said you can't be no idiot and be a music producer, because you got to know how to read and learn how to work some of this stuff.
Right.
Especially back then when there wasn't no YouTube.
Right.
You had to get in the manual and figure this stuff out. And so I got in the manual and figured out how to work the Elises in the 808. It was pretty self-explanatory, and I started making full-length mixtapes, which was my series, was the Slow Jam. DJ Smurf Slow Jam. That was me and Lady DJ. Me and Kizzy did the Pillow Bass together, I want to say. And then I went and did like 5 installments of the Slow Jam, which for me, that's what blew. Between that and mixing the fast, slow stuff, those two things kind of set me apart from everybody and my cutting. I was really, really obsessed with clean scratches, and I'm gonna tell you what else separated me. Actually paying attention to what people like. Right. So it's like a form of being a record A&R before, so when I was into my own stuff. Like I never considered myself a technician of DJing like Toomp, even Red Money to me back then. There was a couple of guys who could really. This was before Nabs. I didn't even know Nabs back then. But that type of DJ.
Was here. Was it Nabs here then?
He came kind of. I don't know what year, but he wasn't on my radar. Is what I'm saying. So he wasn't in that group of DJs that I look to as being like really, really. As a DJ, you either going to invest your time in being that kind of DJ, or you're going to invest your time into being a party rocker. Right. And I invested my time into being a mixtape / party rocker DJ. It wasn't the battle / party rocker. Right. And so I think that's what kind of separated me. I was always paying attention, because you understand, when we were selling those mixtapes at Edward J, I was working the cash register. So I was seeing what people like. Right. So I was like, yo, if this is what's selling, it ain't just Jay coming to me telling me to make this. I'm seeing what people are coming in there and asking for. So it kind of dictated the stuff that I would do. Yeah.
Okay. So I remember me and you DJing at the Apollo. We had this thing called Atlanta Apollo.
Right.
And
that was a brief moment in time.
Yeah, it was
very
brief, but it was
dope though.
It was dope, and there was a little bit historical as far as really artists coming out, you know.
Right.
But I never forget, man. I walked into the Atlanta Apollo, and you was DJing, and you was playing My Posse's on Broadway, mixing with that doggone Between the Sheets.
Oh, yeah, that was one of my favorite joints. Yeah, that was one of my. I forgot about that.
I'm telling you, man, dude, it blew my mind. I was like, how in the world I'm gonna get up there with him?
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, man, you know, you was hands down, man, one of my favorite
Appreciate
DJs,
that,
man. You know,
appreciate that.
But yeah, man. So after the Apollo thing, what was you doing then?
I want to say the Apollo came right at the end of my senior year or somewhere up in there. It was either somewhere I was leaving high school. It was either going into or going out of my senior year. And that's when I was like, I hung with older cats. And so at the end of that summer, I was like, I wasn't college minded. I didn't, that wasn't one, I applied to one college that my brother went to, Alabama A&M.
Right.
And so that's where I wound up going. And I went to college because I was like, I've always been like, I'm not just going to be sitting around doing nothing and not trying to progress. Right. I don't care where it is. Right. I got to be doing something, trying to get better in life, just be better. So college, although it wasn't connected to music, it just seemed like, you know, the thing to do after coming out of high school. I didn't have the money to go at the time. I wound up getting grants and sleeping on the floor for a couple of weeks till I found somewhere to stay and all that stuff. But it wound up being probably the biggest, second to Edward J, the biggest move that I ever could have made musically, because that introduced me to people from other parts of the country. Right. So I wound up staying my freshman year in a senior dorm. And with nothing but Midwest and East Coast, like New York, Detroit, Chicago cats on my floor. So that was like a culture shock to me, you know. And so I remember when I first started DJing up there, you know, they wanted to hear all the East Coast and West Coast, like stuff like Tupac. They were playing that stuff back there. I couldn't stand Tupac, the early Tupac.
Right. Like Get Around and
before that. What was the very first album?
Brenda Got a Baby and all that.
Yeah, I was still Poison Clan.
Right.
Man, I specifically remember them playing Tupac. I was like, I don't get it.
Right.
But I was so Southern. I was so I was so South that I couldn't. But then they started breaking me down. Like, yo, this is why we like this. This is, you know. Right. And so I started, you know, just kind of easing they stuff into my sets at the party. Because I wouldn't play they stuff at my parties. Right. Then I said, this is the crowd. Right. If I don't please them, they're going to go somewhere else. And so that, from a music stance, opened my mind up to, like, it's bigger than what you thought it was or where you come from or whatever. And that carried into my actual professional career. So yeah.
Okay. So what was your first well, you started your own label, but you was making records before you had your own label, right?
Well, I did a little thing when I was in college. Don't ask me why. I just called a bug, and I made it like a little, we called them maxi singles back then. I had 3 songs on it, and one of those songs was To the Walls, which was the first
The little cassettes.
Yeah.
You
know, you had the singles that had the little cardboard.
You slide it right through them.
Right. That was the single. The maxi single was in a real cassette case.
Okay.
But it was a single with like 3 songs.
Right.
So I made a maxi single. That I sold for consignment.
That's what we did with 8-Town Players. We put out the maxi single.
Right. Yeah. So that was big back then. But one of the gems on that maxi single that nobody heard, if you didn't know me back then, was To the Walls, which was the first version of a song that had the Get Low to the Windows.
Wow.
To the sweat, like it had, that was the hook.
Right.
And I actually copywrote that song. And,
Okay.
that but that was probably even before. During that, well, let me back up a little bit. I started DJing for Shy D after Toomp left.
Right.
And that was actually my senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So Shy got in some trouble
Mm-hmm.
and went away for like a year. Mm-hmm. That's when I went to college.
Right.
I was in college when that happened, so that was kind of on hold. He wasn't with Luke no more, and
Mm-hmm.
he was going through his legal stuff with
remember
Luke
that.
and all that. So when he got out of prison, he made a song called The Comeback.
Mm-hmm.
That was his first album with Ichiban.
Oh, right. That's
Records.
right. Mm-hmm.
And I produced like half of that album. That was my introduction into producing, and I produced the lead single True to the Game.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my first placement for an artist. And then I went on to, I got a record deal with Ichiban.
Wow.
And that's how I started rapping, becoming an artist as a like, matter of fact, one of the songs I did while I was in college for that maxi single, I don't think I put it on there, was Drop Like This.
Mm-hmm.
And I put that on a compilation for Ichiban, and they gave me a record deal.
Mm.
That's how I started DJ Smurf, the artist.
Right.
But that was off Shy D's deal.
Right.
Because they was just looking for songs for this bass compilation. They were like, hey, you know anybody got a song, blah, blah. So I was like, I got one.
Mm-hmm.
And Drop Like This wound up being the sleeper, because they were like, we don't want no cussing.
Right.
I was like, well, I ain't got but this song.
Right.
And it had cussing. It was Drop Like This, bitch.
Yeah.
Drop Like This, bitch. So I was like, well, if you don't like it, you don't like it, but this is what I have.
Right.
And they loved it. And it wound up being an Atlanta classic.
Yep.
And so I got a record deal, and I wound up doing an album on Ichiban, where I always produced all my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I wound up doing 4 albums as a bass artist.
Mm.
One with Ichiban, then we left. I did one on Shy D's label, Ben's Records. Then I stopped working with him after that, and did 2 after that. Went back to Ichiban on my 3rd one, and then my contract got bought out. Like I was that big. Like my contract got bought out for the 4th album. And on that 4th album, the company that bought it out was out of New York. And they didn't know what the hell they were doing. They didn't know what the hell, it was so bad, but that's what made me say I can do this shit myself.
Right.
And that's when I started thinking like a label. I knew the DJs, I knew what it took to market, I knew where to put the posters at, I knew where to pass the flyers out, I knew the music directors. I just never dealt with them like that.
Right.
So I just started picking up the phone and dealing with people directly, and that bled over into the Yin Yang Twins.
Okay.
So yeah.
When you got your deal, was it a big chunk of change they gave you up front?
Back then, yeah. I can tell you now, the budget I got after I left Shy was $50K, which for me back then, by myself,
right.
I was like,
you had to split it with nobody?
and I didn't. One thing I can say about Shy D, we didn't spend no money on studio. We got in there, we got out. We went in there, we already knew what the lyrics was. When we went in the studio, because that was before we had studios at the crib. We went into the studios, we dropped our shit and we left. Wasn't no sitting around eating lunch and all that. So I barely spent any money on the actual project because I knew what I was doing. I was trained.
Right.
I was trained from being on the J team. I was trained from being with Shy. I had the best teachers
Right.
that you could have. So I put most of that money in my pocket. Which I wound up investing into Yin Yang.
Right.
With the money from that budget.
Now, how'd you hook up with Yin Yang?
D-Rock was on Ichiban.
Okay.
And so I wound up doing I wound up doing a song for his album, and he wound up doing a feature on my album, which was Dead Crunk. That's when Yin Yang made their first appearance. Him and Kane, they weren't a group at the time.
Okay.
But they rapped together on that song because Kane would always write.
Right.
And they actually did the song together. That was the introduction of the Yin Yang Twins.
Okay.
And so that was that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So what went on after the Yin Yang project?
Well, the contract that got bought out, I got another $50K.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Yin Yang probably brought a whole lot.
But that was the album after Yin Yang introduction. Mm-hmm. So when I got the second deal, I knew that was it. Mm. I did a pretty good album called Non-Stop Booty Shake. Okay. And I was like, if don't nothing on this shit go, then I finally got a chance to do a song with Luke, which was my ultimate dream. And I did that. Mm. So it was like, but at the time, the whole No Limit and all that, the music scene changed.
Right.
And so that's when Raheem popped Drummer with the left, right. And I was like, well, shit, let me try it. And so Yin Yang at the time, when they rapped together, I would get chill bumps on my arm. Literally, that's it went through me because there's a soulfulness. They use their voices almost like gospel, like singers. Like you feel it. It's not just no rap shit. Right. It's just, but this is back before the world knew. And so I knew the talent that they had together. And I was like, shit, let me try it. And we tried it and it worked. You know, Whistle While You Twerk. We did a cassette single with Whistle While You Twerk and a song called Bring Your Ass Outdoors. I never forget, I was so undecided on which one to work first. Yeah. I think if you pull up Whistle While You Twerk on BD, I mean on SoundScan now, it's the B side. I'm gonna say Bring Your Ass Outdoors is the A side. Okay. As it's listed. Right. I was going back and forth so much. You know. Right here. Right. But if you got the single, it's gonna have Whistle While You Twerk first. Yeah. As the A side. Yeah, it's gonna. But I'm saying I was going back and forth so much that as the artwork was getting done and the release and all that, I think we had it registered with SoundScan. If you pull the single up on SoundScan, Bring Your Ass Outdoors is the A side. But on the actual artwork of the cassette, it'll be Whistle While You Twerk. What is that? But you got the vinyl?
I got the vinyl.
Oh, okay. With their picture on it?
Nah. Well, yeah.
That came out my living room, buddy. If you got that, that's a classic.
I got it. If I can find it. It's in this box. I had Kane up sign it. I didn't just sign it too. But
that's a classic.
What is that thing? I got a few Yin Yang classics in there.
Yeah, they got a couple.
So what's the status with you and the Yin Yang now? I noticed I seen the new song and the remixes of the Pokey Bear and you know
right, that. We gonna always be family.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So the chemistry that we had when we were basically with each other every day in and day out, I don't know that we'll ever have that again, but we love working together. So every so often we come back together and we do some shit. You know what I mean? Right. And it's just, this is the original Whistle While You Twerk. And if you got this, you were in. I don't even know what to sign this with. I don't know if we put DJ Smurf or Mr.Collipark. I was beating ass on here. If you look at the credits, my credits was beating ass. Yeah. Oh man, I think I got a couple of these unopened somewhere.
Yeah,
it's crazy how vinyl done. Well, it's coming back now. But.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. So what you got going on now? You know, now that the Yin Yang, you know, they doing their thing or whatever, and so what you doing?
You know what's funny? I just got off the phone with my man who been with me since Aftershock, talking about. For those of you who don't know, this is what January 2nd, 3rd, 2018.
Right.
So it's the first day back to work for the new year.
That's right.
And I'm going into this year like, okay, what you gonna do as far as that? I'm up in the air. I actually have this group that I want to sign right now, and I really, this group is dope as shit, but they're out of Louisiana.
Okay.
So they're a little different.
Okay.
Louisiana is so dope because the music is in their soul, it's in their spirit,
right?
And that's what makes them different than anybody else. You know what I mean? They grow up with it; it's part of their culture. It ain't no rap shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's some music shit.
What kind of sound does these guys have?
I mean, they are doing kind of what's going on, but it's different in the sense that they're from Louisiana,
right?
And that's the best way I can put it. I ain't gonna say their name because you know I don't want to let the cat out the bag.
Right. I don't do that.
And that's moving forward from this point, from this day. I don't know if that's going to be where I am, you know, a month from now, 2 months. I'm going to continue like doing the little remixes and DJing and stuff. Right. I've kind of just been having fun, to be honest with you.
Right.
But now it's like, okay, are you going to seriously get back into it and start doing that? And honestly, I hadn't seen anything that gave me that feeling to like, yo,
this is it.
Yeah, I want to be a part of that. And these cats right here are so dope. What I have to consider now that really ain't got shit to do with it no more.
Right.
That's the sad part.
Right.
That's the part what makes me not want to do it.
Right.
If you a dope, it meant something.
Right.
That don't mean shit now.
That's right.
It don't mean shit.
Me and Raheem was just talking about that yesterday.
If you dope, that don't mean nothing. So
don't mean nothing.
It's like it's a hard decision to make for me, man, because I go hard with whatever I get involved with, and it hurts me. You know, I've tried to. I can sit here and say I ain't hating on what's going on out here.
Right.
You know, you have to accept it. If you're gonna be a part of it, you have to accept it and figure out where you fit
in, right?
In it. And it's like if it's not music based, that's a huge question mark for me.
Yeah.
Because people have always looked at what I've been a part of and look at it like it's some gimmick bullshit or whatever, but there's always been a music aspect to everything that I've done. You look at Yin Yang's whole catalog, still living to this day.
Yeah.
10 years plus later, 20 years.
That's right.
Later. The very first song that we put out is still being played to this day. So you can't tell me what we did. You look at a song like The Wobble.
Yeah.
You look at the whole business model of the artists that are hitting now and trace all this shit back to Soulja Boy. All of it.
Right. That's right.
He birthed everything that's going on right now.
That's right.
The shit we used to laugh at. Soulja Boy would actually be a dope ass rapper right now.
Wow.
He'd be a dope ass rapper. But when he came out, everybody like, get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
So the culture for Soulja was the kids. They're grown now. So you seeing the impact of what that was 10 years later. Yin Yang fan base. They got little white kids just now discovering them from their big cousins, sisters, whatever that was going on when they, you know. I just saw honest to God, I just saw a Lost Tapes episode of Chappelle's Show last night at about 3 o'clock in the morning, where he took a piece of their MTV Cribs and threw it on. I'd never seen it. I had never seen it before, because evidently when he left the show, they did a couple of episodes with Charlie Murphy and the other cat hosting, where they were showing some of the stuff that they cut out, because I had never seen them, and one of them had a clip of the Yin Yang Twins, MTV Cribs. But it reminded me how big that shit was, how big they had become, and I think they got swallowed up in the whole Lil Jon thing. So a lot of the stuff that they were responsible for, they didn't get their full just due.
Right.
They got their just due.
Right.
But not that whole crunk shit.
Yeah.
They were the personification of crunk.
Okay.
Not to take nothing away from Lil Jon. That's my dog. I love him.
Right.
But it was the combination of all of that.
Yeah.
That catapulted. And they got swallowed up into the Lil Jon part of it. You know, I was able to navigate my way out of it as a producer. Right. And do something outside of crunk. They were synonymous with crunk. And I think that was frustrating for them at times. Yeah. You know, but you fast forward to 2017, 2018, their presence from a culture standpoint is just as strong. Hell, New Orleans Saints still playing our song halftime every time they score. That's culture shit. Yeah. It's gonna live forever, man. That transcends hip hop. That's right. You know what I'm saying? That's right. And there's other aspects of Yin Yang that moving into 2018 I wanna work with them on to further their legacy. Cause I know they don't. It's almost like when you grow up, well, you kind of evolve. I don't think they know what they possess still to this day. You know, and I want to be a part of helping them.
I think y'all all deserve that.
Beyond just what we're known for. I just put it there and leave it at that. Right. You know what I mean? I think there's another chapter in this story that could be even bigger than what's already taking place. I really believe that in my heart, you know. And so,
if it's some room, I would love to be a part of that.
Hey, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna execute it. That's the only part that, you know.
Right, since things have really changed with the record
and the dynamic between us. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be, you know, we all grown now. That's right. You know what I mean? Right. So it ain't gonna go like it went, you know, 10, 15 years. You know, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. You know, it's just some things that gotta be put, you know, worked out or whatever before we do it. Right. And so, yeah.
Going back to Whistle While You Twerk, I know you had a sample in there, the Disney sample.
We got sued. Right?
So when you did the record, did you say we just gonna do it? We you know.
You gotta understand. A lot of people was doing that back then.
Right.
These records wasn't going no further than the corner.
Right.
I was on Itchy Bun. You know how many artists was over there. Right. That got thrown up against the wall and records didn't. But you know, it was my first outing really as, you know, a label doing something like that. I knew the record was good.
You didn't think it was gonna take off like it
not
did.
Like that.
Okay.
Which is why we didn't clear the sample.
Right.
I didn't know it would ever get on their radar.
Right.
You know, then next thing I know, we got to write up in Newsweek. This was before the deal. This was before the Universal deal. Right. So, you know, that just goes to show you, man. When you're doing stuff from the heart, we did that record, and you can play the record now, and you just listen to it. That record was made for this city. Yeah. That record wasn't made for nobody else. Right. But Atlanta.
That's right. I couldn't think of no other city that could have brought that record out.
The only, let me tell you what happened though. The term twerk was some New Orleans, some Louisiana shit. That's what made it bigger. You know, and I think when you put an aspect of that, and then the fact that it had, I don't like it wasn't bounce, it was twerk. I think that song was the first song to sonically be twerk. The Louisiana shit was bounce.
Right.
Back that ass up was bounce.
Right.
I Need a Hot Girl was bounce. That shit was bounce. Whistle While You Twerk, Aye. The first two songs sonically that were made.
It's 3 o'clock.
That put twerk as a sound, as a subgenre. We didn't know it back then.
Right.
But now twerk has a sound.
Right.
That was it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so but it came from a place that was the culture, man. Twerk is slowed down bass music. When you listen to the drums, the snare,
I almost want to call it booty shake.
it's slowed down booty shake.
Yeah.
That's what twerk is.
Yeah.
It ain't bounce. It's slowed down booty shake.
Right.
The aggression of the drums is bass. That's where my Miami shit come in my blood.
Right.
You hear it, but that's the gumbo of shit that God put together to make that special. It can never be duplicated.
Wow. Now, when the suit came, did that take a big chunk? I mean, did it hurt?
That was a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why I was the curse, because it fucked everything up. We were going so hard.
Right.
It derailed everything.
Yeah.
We couldn't get that sample cleared. They wouldn't clear the sample, and they sued us, so it stopped everything. But what it did was made us go back in the lab and make Aye. So if you take the pressure away of having that taken away from us, we may have been a one-hit wonder. Who knows?
Right.
But I recall the pressure. Not that the song came from Aye. It was just our creative side. I never felt pressure. So we had to go back and give Universal 2 songs to decide whether they were gonna drop us or not. Because I said, if y'all ain't gonna fuck with nothing else on this album, either put another single out, or let's put another album out, or let me go.
Right.
They said, well, let us hear some music. I gave them, it was Say Aye, and I can't remember what the other song was, but Aye obviously was the song that we thought could be a follow-up.
Right.
And they let us go. And we went to Koch, put that shit out.
It was a boom.
But
bang.
I remember working that record, it was life or death for me. You know, I was I had just got married. You know, I had a lot of shit going on at that time, just on some man shit. So I remember working that. So you understand, once we finished the studio part of it, I gotta go put on the executive hat and make this shit go.
Right.
So I had a lot of pressure on me at that time. And that was the blessing of Whistle While You Twerk. Because I never was comfortable after that. With whatever was going on, especially I never went into an album not knowing I was at least 2 or 3 singles deep. Deep. Like, we fighting over what the second single gonna be.
Right.
Because I know this first single, once it's over, that follow-up, if you look at all my albums that I put out, that I was a part of, Yin Yang never had a 1-song project.
Right.
Except the last one when we wasn't vibing. The Wycliffe.
Oh yeah.
That was you could hear that we wasn't on that. But the Thug Walking, which was Whistle While You Twerk, Yin Yang and this thing. Well, Yin Yang and this thing was kind of like a spinoff, just from being at the live shows and seeing people go crazy over the Yin Yang and this thing.
Right.
Whistle While You Twerk was like a 2-hook song. So that was like a spinoff, but that was the project that we didn't have a true second single. Then you fast forward to Alley, which was the Koch album. We had Say Aye, and we were going between the Twerkulator and By Myself.
Right. Right.
Which by myself clearly was the better choice. Which brings me to another part of why Yin Yang couldn't be fucked with in ways people didn't realize. We had a couple of songs for dudes that were straight anthems. By myself, when it came out, dudes loved that shit. Smoke by myself, drink by myself, fuck these hoes by myself. Come on, man. That was like the hardest shit ever.
Yeah.
But you could still party to it.
Right. And the girls are still party to it too.
Right. When we signed the deal with TVT, the Me and My Brother album, we came out. We were coming off Get Low. So it was like, okay, you can't get bigger than that. So let's do another song, a real song, Nagging. It wasn't a smash for us, but any dude, the lyrics to that record, it was huge.
I love that song.
I loved it too. These songs that weren't booty shaking songs for us really hit the hearts of dudes. I was thinking, dudes.
Right.
And so you had those. What's happening with Trick Daddy? Huge. We might as well have been from Miami when that song came out. The Trick went so hard on that record. Yeah. You know, it was songs in between all the booty shake songs. But we were so deep in these albums with single choices that I never was faced with that scenario of not having another song to put out. That was a strong contender to be worked and put a budget behind. Yeah. You go back to Soulja Boy. People thought he was a one-hit wonder. I was laughing. The whole time Crank That was going, I was laughing. Because I knew he was a heartthrob. These girls was going crazy. I mean, falling out for this kid. How could we lose with Soulja Girl? When we dropped Soulja Girl, it threw everybody out because they thought we were going to come back with another little dance record. No. Then we dropped Ya. It was culture. Songs for these kids. Like, and, you know, from there, you know, history wrote itself, but you can look at the projects that, the only project that I pulled out of my involvement was Hurricane. Because Hurricane was dope. And in between signing Hurricane and Soulja, me and Brian Leach over at J Records, that's why I took him. Kind of, you know, had a little falling out. So I stopped working with him after the A Bay Bay. Which we had A Bay Bay and then the A Bay Bay remix. Like we rolled that bitch till the wheels fell off. We probably rolled that record for 8 months. Bro, we had a remix that was 10 minutes long damn near. Like that record was so big that I just got a 3 million plaque last month for it. Wow. It went 3 million. Wow. Who knew? But we went from A Bay Bay to Hand Clap, which we had a song that I produced called Players Rock. That had the Earth, Wind & Fire sample in it that displayed his lyrical ability. Had we put that out second instead of Hand Clap, it would have had the same effect. But I was like, you know, my hands was off of it. I wasn't caring or whatever. I was whatever, you know. But I've always, the projects that I've been involved with, nobody can say, hell, look at B.I.C. His first single was Get Silly. Right. Gold. Damn near platinum. Wobble came after that. Damn near 3 million on that.
Who produced that track?
I did.
You produced Wobble?
Me and my crew.
Wow. Wow. That was nice.
So how is that a one-hit wonder?
That ain't no one-hit wonder.
We had such a hard decision. If you go back and listen to his album.
Yeah.
We had some songs on there. Our decision was because he was actually older than Soulja. But we rolled the Soulja Boy. I produced Get Silly. But I put Soulja's name on it. Okay. Just cause I intentionally made it sound like some shit he would have did. Because he was so strong at the time. Yeah. And when I put Soulja Boy, tell him. The dance floor silly. I did that shit. Yeah. Okay. But just for the sake of what we were trying to do, that song was big as hell. we came after that with Wobble. We had another song on there that could have played off the Soulja Boy dance type shit, but that wasn't Vic.
Right.
Vic, I still don't know how old that motherfucker is, but he might be my age. I don't know. But Wobble was a more mature.
We actually did a show with Vic.
Okay.
Cameo. You know, I do sound for Cameo.
Oh, okay.
So we actually did a show with Vic.
Vic still don't know how to do the Wobble. But did he do the Wobble? I mean, he did the song, but did he do the dance?
Nah, he did the dance. Nah.
That's a whole nother story. But if you go back and listen to Vic's album for what it was, for the type of artist that he was, it was a very solid piece of work that we could have took an easy route of following up with some more dance shit, but we said the Wobble. Actually, honestly, the staff at Warner Brothers loved Wobble. We went up there and listened to the album with the staff, and they was like, they loved that record, but they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And I spent my own money promoting Get Silly, and he wasn't signed to Collipark. I was executive producing.
Right.
He was signed to my brother's label, Young Mogul. So I was like, shit, this ain't no Collipark shit. Y'all finna jump on this.
Right.
So we put it out and it didn't do nothing because they didn't do nothing. Fast forward a year or two later, it's the biggest line dance in the country.
Yep. And who idea was to throw Frank Ski on there?
Carl Washington, my lawyer.
Okay.
That was because Frank will always say, "Man, we gotta do something." To this day, when I see Frank, we gonna do something else. We gonna do something else. Yeah. But Frank, coming from all that Luke stuff, you know, I'm a big fan of this music shit. Yeah. So Frank, I was like, when I met him, shit, Doodoo Brown, all them Luke as a DJ, you saw them Frank
all them
remixes.
Luke, yep, sure did.
On them Luke 12 inches.
Yep, exactly.
You know, and so I was a fan. I was like, you the Frank?
Yeah,
so,
right. And it's still hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
Like that's that Frank Ski.
Yeah. Because he's a music dude.
Right.
You know.
He like corporate.
Right. And so it finally made sense because they had a go-go feel. And my dude was like, hey, man, you need to put Frank on that one. Okay. Because he was, I won't say he was coming from D.C. at the time. Yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah. And so put him on there and hell, they think it's Frank record before they think it's Vic record now. He can go do songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And walk off after the intro.
That's right.
But, you know, it just kind of, I was in such a good space and I was free to do music from a music point that I felt like, and I always knew the artist that I was working with had, like, honestly, Vic was dope. It's hard to find an artist that's dope that gets the commercial side of it. Right. That's a hard thing to do because usually when you find dudes who are dope, they so into their craft or they trying to be so street or they trying to be everything but what matters.
Right.
Like I'm like, yo, man, don't none of that shit matter. Not over here. You might want to go sign with Jeezy or somebody.
Yeah.
Over here. But that element comes through in the music. Look at Jay-Z. Listen to Reasonable Doubt, which was probably at the time his best. But whatever record, I won't say Ain't No Nigga probably was his first commercial success.
Yeah.
After that, when you get a street nigga who figure out a hit, how to make a hit, you can never go back.
That's right.
You just put that street shit on the album, and if it catch. But we would never have them Pharrell records, them Timberland records from Jay. If he was still trying to be the nigga on Reasonable Doubt.
Right.
That shit don't matter. But we feel Jay on everything he get on. Because he get it.
Right.
If you get it and you believe it, then you know how to sell it. But it's hard to try to get somebody who ain't buying into it to make, you know, this type of record or that type of record.
Right.
You know, if they don't believe it, they gonna half-ass get in the booth. Hey, I did this because he told me to do it.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit. Yeah. We all gonna get paid. Right. We all gonna eat on this. If you don't believe it, I don't wanna force you to do something. Right. But sometimes people don't know what's best for them. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard because they believe that shit in their heart. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just difficult, man. Yeah, but I like to use somebody like Jay as an example. Yeah, you know, that's because once you make a hit, you can't go back and do Reasonable Doubt numbers after you done did the Pharrell and the Timbaland numbers, the Big Pimpin' numbers,
right? The blueprint, the blueprint comes.
The Hard Knock.
Yeah.
The Hard Knock.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he made that record right there, I was like, shit. You can't go back after that.
You can't go back. You right.
Go back after that.
Now, you had a great point then.
Yeah, you can't.
You're right.
Because the numbers don't add up.
Yeah.
You can make the hardest street records you want. When you walk into the room, the boardroom with the label, and they start putting them numbers up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nigga, what is we talking about?
Right.
I know why I'm here. I don't know what you're here for. Shit, we just took a loss.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, I don't know how we got on that, but
nah, that's great, man. That's great, man. And I want to say, man, that I feel so great to be involved, you know, with the Atlanta history.
Right.
You know, I had my little thing here and there. You know, with the Twin Productions that put out, you know, 8-Town Players and stuff like that. And but knowing you and knowing, you know, all my friends, man, it's been wonderful, man. It's been an honor, man.
It's been a great ride, man.
And bro, you are, man, I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you. You know why? Because you did it, and you
appreciate it, man.
You did it, and like you say, like I always saw you as, like you said, nerd, like a nerd. Right. I always saw you as that, and so it wasn't hard to see that you was gonna be successful. You know, yeah, we knew that because you was like, you was driven and you was like this.
Right.
You know, you was always straight. Right. You know, no matter what, and I admire that.
I think the part about me, see, I'm anti. Like, you can come to me and be all. Let's just say if you wanted something from me. Mm-hmm. When you called me here to do this.
Right.
So I walk in the door. Oh man, you the best shit. I'm fuck Jermaine Dupri. Why I been telling niggas all the time, nigga, you nigga. I've never been one to be like, for real, nigga. Yeah, man, I be trying to tell niggas. I'm fucking all these niggas up. I've never been that because I've always been rooted in the music. Mm-hmm. So that's always been my drive and the actual hunt, the game of it. It ain't the flossing. It ain't the women. Right. It ain't because I know all that come. And then it's my choice whether I want to indulge.
That's right.
Or not.
Right.
You know, at that time.
That's
but I'm still focused enough to make a wise decision at that time. You know, so I think that's what separates me. I never got caught up in the moment. You know, because look, I want to say when I started working with Yin Yang Twins, I had to put on my big boy pants of I ain't got no John Abbey. I ain't got nobody now to fall back on or to blame or to do none of that. I ain't never been, ever since I left Ichiban, even with making my first album on Shadi's label, Ben's Records, it was us. It was just us. It wasn't nobody to blame. So I kind of got my innocence taken away early to be able to indulge in the bullshit. You know, when I was with Elvis J and them, like, you couldn't tell me shit back then. But I was still, you know, I was still dope though. Yeah. But I had my little shit, you know, going. But once you out here on your own, you can't blame. Like you can. What I learned, even if I can blame somebody for my shit, what good is it gonna do if I'm still hungry? Right. Them niggas don't care. Corporate America don't care about your losses.
Oh no.
They come on here and talk shit about whoever they want to. It's motherfuckers owe me money to this day. You know what I'm saying? That I can say might have taken advantage of the situation or not. I could sit here. I could have been in magazines and shit complaining about it or talking shit about them. Right. But that don't get me nowhere.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So let's just, who gonna be standing at the end? You know, I can't tell you how many people who was running around here, especially from where I started, the people who was my peers when I started. It's hard for me to find somebody who's still relevant you know, or some way connected into what's going on out here.
Right.
You know, it's a blessing to be able to still be, you know, relevant out here and to have made a mark out here.
That's right.
Past just some bass rapping nigga or some DJ that was on a mixtape crew.
Right.
You know, it's a blessing.
Right.
So the niggas who you might be thinking about that was running around here with all that other shit, I see them now. Damn. That's all you can say.
Yeah.
You don't. It's so bad you don't even want to floss on them. It's like damn, maybe he could have did something more than what.
Yeah.
Had he just.
Yeah, it's like you said. Once you get to a certain age, man, you know you just get old, man.
Shit
get older,
get real.
Man. Get real. You know what I'm saying? You got time for the bullshit, and man. Then, you know.
For me, on top of that, when you got people that you're responsible for, like when you got artists like take Yin Yang, like they were 18, 19 when we first started. Wide-eyed, they were depending on me.
Right.
They were depending on me like daddy, nigga. Like what we eating today?
Right.
So when you got that on you, playtime. And all that flexing and flossing and shit, no, nigga, this shit, this shit real out here.
That's right.
You know, and so that's one part of it. You know, sometimes I be like, damn, maybe I could have enjoyed it a little more. But at the end of the day, you know, I ain't mad at how shit worked out and is continuing to work out. Because we could still go out, like we just did the V103 Jingle Bash. And as a surprise guest, I was there with them, with Yin Yang, and they walked out, and because they don't do a lot of stuff here in front of that crowd. And when they walked out on that stage, they went fucking like it shocked me. I ain't gonna lie, because I'm used to them playing white crowds now. I see them go out in front of white folks, and it's
yeah.
But I've always felt, even in Atlanta, in our own town, that we've been kind of, and I put the blame on ourselves, because we ain't never been one out here talking shit. And it's like, yo, y'all know what we did, and blah blah blah. The work speaks for itself. Right. You know what I mean? And when they walked out on that stage, because the crowd was a little older than I thought would be there, and Yo Gotti on the show. Usual suspects. But so I didn't expect that kind of reception. When they walked out there, man, it was like, whoa. They went, and then when they started the set, they were supposed to do two songs.
I seen some.
They were supposed to do 2 songs. It wound up being a medley about 5 or 6 songs. But I wasn't mad at it. Yeah. Because they were able to get it off. Right. To that crowd, man. It was able to, and this was the weekend after the Empire Christmas thing aired for them. So I felt like that little run right there, it was appreciation. It's good. It feels good to know that your work is appreciated. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I just never felt like, because of when the shit was actually out, niggas slept on us because of they might have felt this other shit was real. What we was doing was some funny, not to be taken serious. But now when you can
pretty much taken serious.
well, to see it.
But I feel what you're saying though.
And I think that goes back to why I do it. It's for the people. It ain't for the people in the buildings. Right. See, you can't take it from the people. That's why we here. If it wasn't for the people and they love what we do, I wouldn't be sitting in front of this camera. But it'd be the powers that be sometimes that try to shortchange you and not give you the credit or the just due. But I guarantee you, anybody who was in that building on that show, they had to say, "Damn, I forgot." Yeah. So I learned back on the CDJs, man. So that I ain't touched no vinyl.
Come on, man! I gotta film this for my battery to go out there. Come on, man.
I don't even know how to use Serato, dog.
It's easy, man.
Wow, it feels so different, man. See. used to this?
You can adjust. You can adjust all that too.
All right, where your
This all here is for the.
where's your this? The lines.
This one. Yep.
Can you make it sharp?
Turn it. You turn it.
Wait a minute. Oh. Wow. I ain't even use this mixer. Okay. I ain't never been no can't you hit one of these buttons over here to high cue it?
Yeah. That's
okay. Well, I like this mixer though. I would have to get used to this mixer.